Good morning, Gemini. This is going to be your reading. Sorry, I got up to a little bit of a late start today. I've been sleeping a lot the past 2 days. I think being out in that hot sun for like the whole weekend just really took it out of me because I have really been exhausted. And so I've just really been trying to recharge my battery. Plus, I've been through a lot of energetic shifting lately. And once you realize that you and everyone and everything around you is nothing but energy, and it's more or less quantum physics, metaphysics, any type of science that involves energy, then you're able to navigate life a little easier. And so this is what I was really able to see this weekend. A lot of times I'll talk about like concepts and I'll believe it to a point, and then when I actually see it for like, the third, fourth time, I'll really believe it. It's like I believe it, but human beings have to be shown, they have to see. It's like we lack so much faith as humans. I feel that energy very strongly. That's the reason why like magic charms, lucky charms, different affirmations and stuff like that really help, because we as humans, we really struggle really incorporating spiritual concepts into our lives. It's like, and even me, for example, I talk, I'm a teacher, and so I teach these concepts. And it takes a lot these days for something to knock me off my square, but every now and then, something will, and everything I have learned, I throw it out the window. And that happened to me yesterday, and I decided, what, I'm done for the day. I was up, I was getting ready to head out for the day, and it knocked me off my square so bad that I just literally just stayed in the house all day. And I said, what, that's all right. That is all right, because it was all being divinely guided. And I thought I had turned my flash on so I'd have some light. Apparently I didn't. So let me hit a light real quick. Sorry. I thought I had turned it on, and sometimes it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. So I apologize. It's not real bright. The first card that we have is the Child Innocence Sees. And basically, the message that I channeled, yes, I'm channeling messages now, with this card when I first saw it, was that you are dealing with a lot of things from childhood right now. And I'm getting for some that possibly it's rejection. Maybe this is your core wound. I know this is my core wound, and it would be something that would go back to childhood. Maybe you're possibly dealing with abandonment issues. I know I've had my own abandonment issues as a result of my dad leaving me when I was a child, or the man who I thought was my father. So if these things are coming up for you, the message that's coming through from Spirit is to face them. Your feelings are not going to kill you. And the sooner that you can acknowledge this, because once you acknowledge patterns that you've been stuck in as a result of a core wound or childhood wounds, they no longer control your life because you're aware of them. Awareness and consciousness is all it takes. You don't need to change anything. Because once you're aware of why you do something, and then, it comes up again or comes back around again, you're like, oh, there's that thing that I do. I'm going to do something different this time. Because to clarify that card, we have surrender. At times we must surrender the old before something new can enter our lives. Let go and all will work out. And so basically, there's still a certain amount of control energy in this reading here. And a lot of times we think that we surrender and that we are in a place of faith, but that's what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. And then something happens, and then everything goes out the window. And then we're mad at ourselves. This happened to me yesterday, and I was like, man, I'm so mad at myself because I knew this. And why did I let this get me so upset? But and I was like, did I do something wrong? And, I had to stay in the house and I had to really meditate on it. And the spiritual guidance that I got was that it had to play out like that. Sometimes, no matter what you focus your attention on, you still end up having a situation that appears to be a conflict. And it has to play out that way because if you look at it, it has taught you something. People are perfect mirrors. I was dealing, with my divine partner yesterday, and we usually get along pretty well anymore because I have cleared so much stuff because I'm the one doing the clearing. But yesterday he showed me my brat side that is still there. How I act when I don't get my way. And when this whole scenario played out, I was like, God, why is he being such a dick? I mean, it was ridiculous. And then, like I said, the message that came through for me was, he was showing me how I act when I'm a brat. With other people, when I don't get my way, I still tend to kind of be a brat. So with that being said, it had to play out that way. And when it was over with, I was like, and it could have been a lot worse because I could have really overreacted. I could have, cussed him out. I was, at one point I was like, you know what, fuck him. I'm just going to block him. I'm done. Like I used to be, the energy I used to be in. And I was like, no. All right, I'm going to go and I'm going to meditate on the situation. I'm going to figure out what the lesson was. And then I'm going to let it go. Yes, I'm going to let it go. There used to be a time I used to never let shit go. I mean, 2 weeks from now, you'd still hear about that. Maybe 2 months from now. But I let it go. And when I let it go, you know what? I ended up being on a higher timeline. And I ended up being even more surrendered because now I understand. And, when I got to the end of this thing, I was like, you know what? Give me more. Yes, I even said that. I said, give me more. I'm ready for more situations in which I can learn and grow more. I no longer see it as a struggle. I no longer see this as something that's bad or hard. I have figured it out. All of these simulated experiences that I'm having are for more growth. And if you look at it that way, give me more. I'm going to master this. I'm going to master self. That is the energy you need to be in. Crone Resurrection. What I had gotten with this is that there's something is going, if it hasn't already, maybe that's, what's going on over here. But something's about to revisit you. And it's a situation or an energy. It's something, it's a pattern. It's something that you've dealt with before. And it's going to come up and it's going to be in your face. And I really feel very strongly this goes along with that story that I was telling. This is something for you to look at. So when somebody shows you this, instead of telling yourself, shit, this really is happening to me all over again? Really? Instead of saying that, say, you know what, okay. Obviously, this keeps coming up for a reason. Let me look at it. Let me master this. Let me master these demos so that I can have higher vibrational demos. I welcome them. I welcome growth. I welcome the clearing out of the old, making room for the new. Because when you do that, you have freedom. My fearless freedom lights up the world. Some of us, basically, if you're watching my videos, you're obviously on the path to ascension, to spiritual enlightenment. I had said something on Facebook yesterday. Understand, I have no social interactions but the little time that I spend on social networks. I mean, every now and then I'll visit somebody. I did spend time out in the public over the weekend, which I don't do very often. Even with my sales, I'm kind of out for an hour or two, then I'm home. I forgot what I was saying. God, I hate when I do that. It'll come back to me. So that when I spend time out with people or whatnot, I really have to go and recharge my battery. So with this, so if you're watching my video, you're on this path to ascension, this path to enlightenment. I had said something on Facebook about I have practiced and studied many different religions, but I finally realized that the path to enlightenment does not involve religion at all. In fact, it's actually the absence of religion, because you stop being spoon-fed information. And so basically, I was talking to someone yesterday, and she was like, I'm trying to learn everything I can read everything I can get my hands on. I'm trying to learn everything I can learn. I said, you know what? I'm doing just the opposite. I'm trying to unlearn everything I've been taught. I'm stripping off that conditioning. I'm stripping it away. And so once you strip off that conditioning, you start realizing that as you get closer to your soul energy, that you are here to raise the vibrations of the planet. If you're watching this video, that's what ascension is about. You start awakening, and when you have a level of higher consciousness and you're able to see physical circumstances that are going on in the physical world with people who are in lower vibrations, I'm not saying you make excuses for them, but you're able to kind of see it and understand it. And you don't feed into it anymore, because you're no longer in alignment with the drama and the mess. And so you naturally, you will start to see that, where you work at, people will automatically want to be around you. So make sure you have your boundaries tight, just because you are higher vibrational. And sometimes they even want to suck your energy. I mean, there are, energy vampires are real, especially if they're in lower vibrations. They want to take your energy and even take your light. So do have boundaries with people. And how do you have boundaries with people? You don't get into ego wars with them. You let them be. Sometimes, if you have a conflict with someone, sometimes you just have to say, look, all that you said, yes, that's right. And you know what? Let's just move on from it, because I'm going to. Because you know what? I don't even have to be right anymore. Whatever it is you think, you feel, you believe, that's all you. That's how I'm going to let you have it. Because when you feed into it, guess what? They're getting fed also. Sit back and watch people sometimes where they really, really want a reaction from you, because they want your light and your energy, because it's so powerful and it's so positive. Mother Creativity Wind. Basically the energy that I'm getting with this card is all about that creation, about really focusing on what it is that you're trying to create. And even though, like I said, these type of situations do come up. Now let's say, for example, because this is where I've been at. I do see how I'm able to manifest things. I'm able to manifest money. I'm able to manifest higher vibrational situations. But then when some shitty situation comes in, like did yesterday morning, I'm like, what the hell did I do wrong? God, what did I do? But it had to happen. It had to play out that way to show me something. So if you attract a situation that you're like, damn, I must have messed up somehow. I messed up on my intentions. Maybe I was focused on this. Understand your soul knows what's best. And if this situation has shown up, it is leading you one step closer to what you're trying to get to. So don't judge it, because it's leading you right where you need to be. And so you are manifesting. It's just, if you look at it as this amazing journey that you're on of self-discovery and soul awakening and self-growth, and welcome any type of opportunities that come up for you to do this. Let that be your intention. I know we all want more money. I know we all want love. We all want these things. But once you get to the higher vibrational road, guess what? All that's waiting there, because you have passed all of your fears. You have cleared, anything that needs cleared. I had said something in a live video I made on Facebook the other day, that if there was a fixer-upper within a 100-mile radius, I was going to find him. I was going to fix him up. I was going to make him mine. And he better not leave, because you know what? You owe me now, buddy. But instead, I decided to focus that energy inward and make myself the fixer-upper. And guess what? That was the game changer. We have this water cleansing. And that is basically the energy that I'm getting here, is that all these things have to be cleared away. They all have to be. And you have to be able to really face yourself. You know, so instead of blaming others for things, I'm not saying blame yourself, but look at yourself, because it's always the energy you're putting out is what you're aligning to. Always. It's always your energy. And energy doesn't lie. Like, you can say whatever it is you want to say, but if your energy does not align to it, the universe doesn't even use words. It only uses energy. So you can stand out under the moonlight and declare whatever you want to declare, but the universe is not going to hear your words. It's only going to hear your energy that you're putting out, where your vibes are, vibes are. Sorry, I can't talk. And Six of Seas, pleasure. Basically what I'm getting with this card is to spend more time doing the things that you love. Check in with yourself daily and see what you need. You've got to get to the point where you stop putting others before you. How many times have you been selfless, or you've been sacrificing so that you can please somebody else? And I feel like this has to do with abandonment issues. So that's kind of like what I was saying earlier about a fixer-upper. You know, I'm going to fix him up and he better not leave me because he owes me now. And we think that, you know, that's being loving. There's a certain manipulative quality when we overgive, because we always overgive for a reason, because we ourselves are trying to get something in return. Whereas if you direct that energy to yourself to begin with, instead of overgiving so that you can get something from someone else and always be disappointed because you have expectations of them that most of the time are unrealistic and they can't fill, because when you got them, you know, they needed fixed. And now you expect the world from them. So instead of doing that, focus on yourself and give it to yourself to begin with. And get yourself to a place where you are happy, you are whole and complete, you are in this energy here, this pleasure, this man, life is great, I love myself so much. And then you will attract the partner of your dreams without needing to do any fixing up. Fix yourself up. That's what I had to do. Love and compassion. And so I don't know how many times over like the past 2 weeks I have seen love memes that involve if he's not doing this for you, or if he's not treating you like a queen, or if she's not treating you like a king, or whatnot, then move on because they don't love you. Society has such a twisted view of what love is. And it comes from religion, actually. Because if you look at your religions, how many times are you told that God is going to withhold his approval, his validation, and his love if you sin? He's going to cast you down into the pits of hell, and you're going to burn forever if you do not worship him, if you do not believe in him, if you sin, if you are imperfect. And understand, remember I said we have these demos because we're trying to learn, and sometimes they involve so-called sins. I know I had to have a whole tower moment come crashing down on me in January, where I was really able to face a whole shadow side of myself, where I got myself into all kinds of trouble, where I was seeking validation. But we learn that from religion. And so then we get involved in these relationships where we feel like that person should be our everything. They should worship us. They should idolize us. They should give us all the attention that we desire. They should be there for us whenever we want them or need them to. And that is not being loving. Sometimes you have to love somebody right where they're at and love them without conditions or expectations. And you're saying, okay, well, what about me? Well, that's where you are giving to yourself first and foremost. And so you have everything you need and want. So nothing is missing. Child design, Earth. I really feel like this goes with that child innocence right here. With that something from your childhood. Like I said, I don't know what it is. I feel like it's abandonment issues. Maybe somebody had neglect, and it does not have to be like serious. I mean, it could be for some. For some, maybe you were seriously neglected and taken away from your parents. I'm getting that message for somebody. But for some of you, maybe it was just, maybe your parents worked a lot. Maybe they were cold. Maybe they just didn't show a lot of love. And so you felt like you were missing that. And that is what has caused you to be in this energy here of feeling like you need to find somebody to fulfill that. But you need to work on yourself. This needs to be something you really need to look at. And a lot of times we have to be very forgiving of our parents because they did the best that they could. Especially, I'm 50. I'll be 50 this year, and it seems like my generation, our parents were very, very cold. Even though they did provide for us, even though they were there, it's because their parents were cold, very cold. And children were to be seen and not heard. They were considered little, just basically little adults. Their parents were not real attentive to their needs. I know we watch shows like Little House on the Prairie and stuff like that. I did. Or like the Brady Bunch. And we're like, oh, but, it really wasn't like that. It really wasn't. It was more or less, dad had to work all the time. Mom tended the house. There really weren't a lot of like warm moments. There were exceptions to the rules, of course, but, it just seemed like that era, that generation, that just didn't happen. Now, the kids that we have had are very touchy, emotional, feeling beings. And at first this was very hard for me to deal with because I wasn't used to it. And I was just like, man, they're babies, they're brats. Why are they acting this way? But it seems like that particular generation that's in their 20s now are very much in tune with their feelings. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just means that it's coming full circle. So do be forgiving of your parents. And if you're having trouble right now understanding your own kids, and you're my age, that's why. It's an evolution of human consciousness where we're actually getting more back to feelings now. And it starts with our own children. And we have to really be comfortable with that. The Pope. Basically what I'm getting with this, since this does clarify that child design card, is really changing our belief system. Not changing our belief system so much, but actually looking at it. Looking at things we were taught. Things we believe to be true about the world. And about relationships. And, that's what I was talking about, like with our parents and our grandparents and our kids, and how the human consciousness is changing. And so change along with it. Don't be so rigid in your belief system. Be more accepting. And any type of views or opinions that you have that no longer resonate with you, once again, don't be afraid to clear those. Those can be a major, major block. And I'm getting, that these can even be religious views. I know I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses for 20 years, and this was a very, very big block for me when I first started spiritually awakening, because that particular religious sect is everything that I'm not now. very judgmental. If you don't follow the rules, you get kicked out, basically. It's that conditioning. I mean, there's so much conditioning. And then you're supposed to stay away from things like this. Which, really now I'm like really questioning it, because why would you want me to stay away from the truth and from true spiritual enlightenment and awakening? And if I do that, I get kicked out. So, really do question, what you've been taught. Nurturance. Sorry, it's getting dark in here. 8 of Earth, nurturance. Whatever you focus your attention on, your energy on, will grow. So do be very careful about what you're focusing your energy on. Are you focusing your energy on not having enough of something? Not having enough money? On not having a romantic partner? Because that is coming from scarcity and lack. And if that's what you're nurturing, guess what? You're going to continue having more lack. Find some things to be grateful for and focus on those, and that will grow, because you will have more and more things to be grateful for. If you have a situation in your life that, like I said, you don't like right now, stop focusing on it, because you're growing it and you're grounding it and you're anchoring it in. I don't know how many times I hear people in spiritual circles talking about ground it. What the hell you want me to ground? I'm not grounding anything and everything. Anything and everything does not need to be grounded. It needs to be cleared. It needs to be released, but not grounded. So be very careful what you are nurturing, what you're grounding. Discipline, training, consistency, and practice. So basically what I'm getting with this also is the same energy. Whatever you're focused on, whatever you're training for, whatever you're preparing for will manifest. So make sure you know what you're preparing for. Do you have a backup plan for what you want? If you have a backup plan, you know what? You're going to always manifest the backup plan. I don't know how many times, the beginning of every week, I set the intention for how much money I need. And what I was doing there for a while, I was like, okay, this is how much money I need. But if it doesn't happen, I can get by with this much, because I can always push back the rest of what I need to next week. And guess what would always happen? So now I go out there just knowing I'm going to make enough money. So be very cautious about what you are preparing for, what you're training for, what you're practicing for. Tower. So I do feel like whatever it was that happened with this resurrection, whatever it was you resurrected, was a tower moment for you. This is a moment of clarity. A tower moment is nothing more than a moment of clarity. Usually that happens painfully, quickly. Something just comes down. I had a tower moment, like I said, in January, when I faced something in my shadow side that was, it came crashing down. I lost my job. I lost, friends. So this doesn't have to be that serious as my tower moment was. This could be I'm getting something failed. Something didn't turn out the way you wanted it to. And so maybe you've been feeling discouraged spiritually. Like that, that energy that I said I was in yesterday. What did I do wrong? I'm trying to stay positive. I'm focusing my intentions. But like I said, some things just have to happen. They have to play out, because otherwise it's going to always play in the background. That message just came through for somebody. So whatever happens, do not resist it and do not judge it. Understand it's bringing you one step closer to where you need to be. Lightning. What I'm getting with this is power. The other thing right now, we have all these planetary retrogrades, all these different galactic things that are going on right now. And so, the energy is very, very strong. And so do work with it. And that could be, how this tower moment happened too, just because a lot of these retrogrades and stuff come to really clear out a lot. So do definitely work with the energy that's going on universally right now. Don't resist it. Do go with the flow, so to speak. You know, if you lose something, you know what? I was listening to a video, and it was Abraham Hicks actually, and she was talking about sometimes we have to lose everything before we get out of that energy of being fearful of losing things. You know, sometimes we're scared of losing something, and guess what? We lose that thing. And so then we lose our confidence and we get into a fear-based energy, then everything starts happening. And not until you lose that very last thing where you have nothing left to lose, you're like, you know what? Fuck it, my back is against the wall. I have nowhere else to go right now but to surrender more and to have more faith. And then everything starts going back uphill again. You know, you get back everything you lost and then some. And then you're no longer scared to lose things anymore. You know, like, you know what? If I lose it, it's going to be replaced with something better. So I'm not even worried about losing things anymore. And so that never happens again. So if that is happening for you right now, clear your energy. I know I started losing things in January when I lost my job, and I was like, oh Lord, no, I'm not trying to lose anything. I was really fearful of that. And I didn't have to lose everything because I caught myself. And I was like, you know what? I told myself, you know what? Whatever I lose will be replaced or restored to me, even if it's with something better, and I stopped worrying about it. So that is the energy that I'm getting with that card. All right. Let me read this postcard oracle card. Dearest you, there are times you get lost but refuse to see your part in things. It happens to everyone. Something feels familiar but sort of off. If you're feeling confused, it's best to throw away that map you're using, which only lets you navigate based on your past experience. That isn't what you need right now. Instead, take a deep breath and open to the truth. A desire to stay in denial means that part of you doesn't want to be responsible for the pattern that shows up in your life. I swear I said that. Yes, this is the right time to wake up and start again. By the way, you will always get another chance. You always have unlimited chances to start again. We love you so much. We really do. Be gentle with yourself. Coming out of denial is like temporarily being blinded by super bright lights. Allow your eyes to adjust. Carry on, special one. A beautiful life awaits. Loving you so, so much. Wow, that's amazing. And that really did, I feel like this really did go along with everything I was talking about patterns or whatnot. So that was beautiful. Well, this is your reading, Gemini. I'm sorry it's taken me so long this week. Man, my energy's just been really, really low. So I haven't been able to get a lot done. If you'd like to have a personal reading to see what is blocking you in your life, or if you're on a twin flame journey, or if you'd like to know more about past lives, my readings are $50 through PayPal or Cash App, and I'll include the description in the video. Thank you.